Hello snowboarders of the internet, I'm your host Avran LeFeber, and in this video we're going to be reviewing the GNU Finest. This board features Mervin's C2X camber profile, which is a shorter reverse camber between the feet and a longer camber section underfoot. This is going to give you all the load, pop, and snap and drive from two independent camber sections, but it's also going to be a little more playful between the feet, and it's just going to change the dynamic of how it enters turns as well as exits them and how you press and play with this board. This board is available in 148, 151, 154, 157, 159, and 155 wide. I rode this board at Arapahoe Basin on a sunny bluebird day. There were warmer temps, slush, chop, chunder, a little bit of ice here and there, and perfect hero snow on the groomers, and I rode it with my Rome Black Label bindings and my K2 3-axis boots. The overall flex of this board comes in just a hair past middle of the road freestyle flex, and what you do get is more play in the tip and the tail outside those camber sections right where the C2X comes down, so you're going to have a lot of give there. It stiffens up through the inserts to the middle right where that reverse camber is, and it acts like a hinge point, so you're going to actually have more flex from tip to tail right there. But the torsional flex kind of matches the flex right underfoot, so you feel it. It's not overly aggressive, it's there. You can twist this board if you want to. When it comes to the stability of this board, it's damp to a point, like micro vibrations. It's going to help dissipate those underfoot, but when you get into really rutted out terrain, you're going to feel that C2X camber profile just taking a hammering, so you want to keep your knees bent and be aware of that. If you do, you're going to be fine. If you don't, you're probably going to get bucked around. With this board having independent camber zones, you do have to load them up, and it's relatively easy to load them up, but this board doesn't have a lot of snap when it rebounds. It's enough to get you in the air, but it's not going to be the poppiest thing you've ever been on. You're going to be like, okay, cool, I got up in the air, you know, you did it, you launched that side hit, that roller. And when it comes to jumps, small to medium are going to be its strong suit. Yeah, you could probably go hit the big line if you're feeling wily, but for the most part, small to medium, it's where it's at. It's not really going to boost you off the lip if you load it up. It's just sort of pops and you're there and you go and do it. If you're getting weird on snow features, you're going to notice that you do get a little spring out of it, but nothing crazy. So launch that volcano if you want to and see what happens. With the sweet spots in the tip and the tail just outside that camber zone, you've got this nice area to really ideally want to lock your presses into. So it does take a little bit of muscle just to engage it, not a lot, just a little bit. So when you do muscle outside your inserts, you're going to notice that it locks in and it presses, and you can get weird, get sideways, revert around, do whatever. And then the camber zone is going to give you a little bit of snap and you're going to be able to pop out of it. When it comes to jibbing, it's consistent with how it locks into nose and tail presses. You can just feel this board lock in, and that camber section gives you spring off the feature. When you go sideways, yeah, you could want to ideally aim for between the feet, but with that reverse camber hinge point, it's going to kind of slide you sideways, either into the front or the back foot, and that's where it's going to lock in and really cradle around the feature. And you're going to notice that it does cradle around it absolutely perfectly. This board has a fluid edge-to-edge power transmission. You never really have to worry about it, which is nice because it lends itself to ankle steering a little bit better. You do get some snap out of the torsional flex, so that does help with driving a little bit more when you're ankle steering, but when you're more aggressive and you're loading up that rear camber section, kicking your knee into the center of the board, you get a little bit of power, and that's going to allow you to apex the carve. The one thing to note is that this board does have an asymmetrical side cut, so you do have a deeper heel side cut, which will help with the natural anatomy of us as riders laid over on edge. Basically, short, tight, quick carves or medium mellow carves are really where it stands out. Who's this board for? Someone that wants a solid freestyle board that they can get weird with, and I mean weird. Overall, this board is predictable. It rides how you'd want. It's damp where it needs to be, and it's playful where you want it to be. Could it be a little bit more lively? Sure, but it's a pro model. Who am I to say what it actually needs? It's not my pro model. I do like the sweet spots in the tip and the tail. It really lets you press and butter with it and do your thing. The C2X camber profile is forgiving enough that you don't have to be on top of it at all times to drive the board when you want to. Overall, it's a fun board for what it actually is. Comparable boards: the Ride Zero, the Yes Jackpot, the Rome Gangplank. Binding recommendations: the Bent Metal Actions, the Ride C6, the Rome Vice. This has been my review of the GNU Finest. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you own one? Are you going to buy one? Leave me a comment down below. Let's have a conversation about this snowboard. If you're new here, remember to subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications. That way you're not missing any of the videos we got coming out for all you snowboarders of the internet. And if you really like what we're doing over here and you want to support us further, swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP and become a member. Sure, I could tell you more here, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. As always, I've been your host, Avran LeFeber, and I'll see you in another video.